welcome back to my channel. A long time it's been since I've chatted to you guys, and I'm so excited for today's video because I, for the longest time, was looking up for inspiration for a sewing slash craft room slash filming space. I am in the fashion content space where I also am learning to sew my own clothes. I'm also a hobbyist, if that's the right word to use. I have so many different things to store, such as paint, fabric, threads, you name it, I have it. I also have a young family that requires a lot of rooms in a house, so I got one room, which I'm very grateful for because I feel like that's also sometimes not an option for people. So I do have one entire room to utilize, and I have a lot of lovely light, which does not make it as aesthetically pleasing for you guys because the light will be behind a lot of what I show you, but it makes filming, and as you can tell in this video, a lot brighter. So I'm going to do a tour of my room today, and I hope that it helps somebody out there, because for me, I just could not work out angles and storage solutions and yeah, many different things, which I'm sure if you're watching this video you're also coming across the same problems, trying to fit a lot into a small space, keeping to a budget, keeping organized, and also seeing everything functional and having the space work ergonomically, if that's the right word. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, or you're interested in sewing, learning to sew with me, or any kind of projects like that, then be sure to come down and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments if you have any other great solutions for your sewing room. I would love to hear any advice that you guys might have so that I can maybe tweak some things, adjust them. This is very much a work in progress, and I feel like that's the same for most crafting people, is that we find certain things that work certain ways and then we go, actually this way would work better, and then we rearrange our whole room. So this is just what my room looks like currently. There's a lot that I'm sure will change over the years, but let's get going. Okay, so this is the entry to my room. I have a sliding door, which is great when I've got kids and I need to shut them out. Now, like I said, it is gonna look a bit cluttery, messy, but I promise there is organization and, what's the word? Solution to my madness? A myth to my madness? No, method to my madness. Okay, so as you walk in the room, we're gonna start off on the left. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this side. As you can see, like I was talking about, there's lots of windows, which makes it really unaesthetic for you guys to look at, unfortunately, but hopefully you will understand when I get a bit closer what's going on. So I've got my desk from IKEA. Now this is one of those like build it yourselves, so you can have, this is just a plank of wood. I chose to have 2 legs and a stack of drawers. You could very easily choose another set of those drawers to sit this side, which in hindsight I have a lot of room to do, so I may change that with time. Now this stackable thingamabob was actually my original crafting solution. It was where I used to store everything for my craft, and as you can see, it's very small. So that storage solution lasted about a year. However, I don't want to get rid of it because it is really handy to drag around the house or drag around places whenever I'm doing like painting or finicky things that need a lot of like needles or pins or whatever. So it stays there. It is a little bit blocking the doorway, but for now I don't want to get rid of it because it does have a purpose. It's just not yet been used. I also store all of my makeup and things on top of it just because I find that I'm most productive when I'm in my room, so I just like to get ready in my room. Moving back to the desk. Now I just currently have a dining chair which was from Fantastic Furniture. I don't like it, so it's actually going to probably end up coming over this side, but for now it's there. It's the only I was gonna say desk chair that I have, but I want to get a swivel chair so that I can, I'll show you in a bit why, but for now this is what I have. Now moving over here, I forgot to say that we are renting in this house. So all of these things that you're going to see are renter friendly hacks, because that was something that I found on a lot of the craft videos that I was watching, or craft room tours, was that people were like drilling holes in walls and putting pegboards up and like all of those things. I don't have the luxury of that. which is fine, and I think a lot of people are in the same position, so I'm going to show you my workaround for those things. So next up I got the pegboard, or two of them actually, from IKEA. Now you may be thinking, how are they up there? So what we ended up doing was buying, these were from IKEA as well. I'll link everything below if I can, but they're little like clips, sorry, my nails are disgusting, little like pinchers to hold the pegboard to the desk. So as you can see under here, as you can see through there, there are those pegs, and they push up and hold it against, sorry, they push up and hold that against the desk. Now you may be wondering, is this actually functional? It looks flimsy, and I feel the same way. It is flimsy. Look, we've got 4 of them, 2 for each pegboard, and the top is going to be a little bit more flexible because there's nothing holding the top of it. You can obviously attach it to a wall if you really wanted to. You could probably even use command hooks or some kind of sticker hook, as long as you're abiding to the weight limit. But I actually gave it a little bit more stability by putting a plate, a little metal plate behind the pegboard and screwing that in with screws, just so that the two of them would be a more united thing. And to me, I think it's done a really good job. Like, that's moving very little considering how much it comes vertically off the desk. So I'm happy with it. On the actual pegboard, I just grabbed a bunch of different accessories from IKEA that they offer. So a bunch of these hooks and 4 of these, which are technically supposed to hold books and like paper, but I actually put my Cricut rolls and tubes down there just so that they stack nice and easily, and then I always rubber band them back together once I've finished cutting with them. Bunch of different accessories hang off this, which I love. I also have these tubs, which I don't often find a use for, but I'm sure one day I'll need something to go in there. To be honest, I probably could start putting those in there. They also have these like big tray kind of ones, and these are great for like my sewing accessories and also for my stapler and all like those stationery accessories. And then I've got all of my Cricut tools hanging there as well. So when I'm doing a big project, like sewing, a massive project, I actually make this half my office desk, and then this half becomes something to do with whatever project is going on. So if I'm heat press ironing shirts, then that becomes my heat press station. If I'm overlocking something, then it becomes my overlocking station. And this mat is actually from IKEA as well, which works well in this space, and I'll explain why. You're now on the desk that I was just showing you, and you're facing towards the other side of the room, and that mat is on the floor right there. It actually works as a really great space between that desk that you just saw and this desk here. Now this is a new addition to my space, which I'm obsessed with, and I wish more crafters talked about it, to be honest, because it was the biggest solution to the problem that I was having. So because I actually film a lot in this room, which I'm going to show you my filming space in a moment, I couldn't have 2 permanent tables set up in my room. There just wasn't the space, and because of the depth that I need to get full outfits from my camera, this would have been in the way of my shot, and it would have just been ugly, not aesthetic, and just really not functional. But on the other hand, when I'm doing my sewing projects and not filming for YouTube fashion hauls, I needed a big sewing table slash crafting table. And that is where this bad boy came in handy. Now, I don't quite remember the name of this, but I will definitely have it linked below. But it is the perfect crafter's table. So both sides of this center part have 3 drawers that come out. They're nice and deep. They're also really long, and they're both sides of this here. So as you will see, if I can spin you around, we have this side already extended. The only negative is that it has got a swing leg, which you can see under there, that is stabilizing the whole thing. So some might say that that isn't enough stability for them, but I've personally lent on it, I've cut fabric, I've done all those things on it, and it's really stable. It is, however, sitting on carpet, which does tend to cup the feet a lot better than maybe wood or tile would. So if you do have this table, maybe letting other people know in the comments if it is stable on those hard floors as well. But right now I permanently have this side set up against the wall, and I keep things like my heat press mat, my heat press itself, and also my Cricut cutter or cutting mat. Now this side is the game changer for me. So when I'm filming a video and I need that longer depth, because my camera normally sits about here, that's where it's always sat due to the lighting needing to be on my face when I film. So my camera sits here, and if the table was out, you would see just mostly white in the forefront of the footage. So that is where this little handy desk comes up. So it swings out both sides, which as you can see turns into a pretty long table, and it has that one swing foot that comes out again as well. Most of the time I leave it up, but when I'm filming longer videos, like I said earlier, then I put this down. From memory, this desk was on the more expensive side. I think it was from memory about $299, and for what the material is, you think, oh, that's not worth it, but it's actually quite heavy and durable, and I haven't yet had any structural issues. It's really solid, and it gives me a lot of confidence when I am doing a lot of like crafting on it. So when that desk is down, I just have my sewing machine and overlocker sitting on this side, so if I want to sew on it, I can sit up if I wanted to. I don't really use it there if I'm not having it extended. I'll normally move it over to this so I can put my legs under. So eventually I'd like to get another mat, or maybe a bigger mat, to sit between these two, because when this is extended, it's a really great U-shape kind of functionality. So I can swivel my chair around, sew on this table, swivel around, cut something here, or steam press something there, or iron. It's a really great functional zone. This is the messiest part of my room, and unfortunately this just comes with being a content creator. I need to have lots of lighting. Eventually I'd like to get rid of these box lights and actually put my lights up on the top of this, properly attaching them, because this is my filming space over here, so it just makes sense. But for now, this is what I have to do, and I've also got a big canvas back there to eventually do some art on. So I'm not obsessed with this corner, but it's also just one of those things that when you film and have filming equipment, you have to store it somewhere. On the one hand, it holds all of my fabric. I'll show you what I use for that in a moment, but it also houses any of the clothes that I need to readjust, fix, alter, and then it also on the left hand side has the clothes that I'm yet to shoot for Instagram that I would like to, from hauls that I've unboxed. So it's kind of like a mixture of all of the different areas of my life. So yeah, crafting to filming and shooting content. So this particular wardrobe was a pick and add things and sort of customize it the way that you want to. So I've got a small little rack here. I've got 4 of the same bigger units there, and then it's got another sort of shelving unit here, and they're all connected with screws by me because they only came with plastic clips, which was just not enough, not secure enough. I also house all of my parcels here that I'm yet to unbox and film with, fabric that's yet to be washed, and then once it's washed it gets hung or it goes into a drawer depending how much weight is up here. So I just purchased some hangers from Big W, and these are great because they actually lift up. If you'll see here, they actually push up and out like that, which is a swing arm that allows you to add your fabric to it really easily. So once I've washed it, it goes up here and gets hung up, and then it holds, I think, four fabrics on there, and they are heavy, they are expensive. I think those hangers were about $15 each, but it has been worth it for me. Now onto the side that, like I said, a lot of crafters or content creators haven't shown me on YouTube videos before, so I'm excited to share with you this side of my room. So you're now sitting on the original desk that I showed you, and we're going to be looking at the opposite end of the room. Now I needed an entire section of a room to be mostly clear. I didn't want anything other than aesthetic things so that I can film like right now with a massive depth to show you a whole entire outfit. Now this is just my niche of content that I'm in. this won't be applicable to a lot of people, but for those that is in the fashion industry or an industry that you need to be maybe working out or something that you need your whole entire body in the frame of, but you're also a crafter, then this is the perfect setup. Obviously adjust it to your lighting in your room, adjust it to whatever walls you want, but I found many different layouts that didn't work because of lighting reasons. So whenever I have a room, I always start off with looking at where the majority of the windows are, and then wherever they are, setting up the filming space directly opposite. That's where my number one basis starts, and then my crafting desk and storage works on the other side. That's just always the way I've done it. It always works for me that way. And if I show you what I mean, when I film, if I had have had my setup, which I usually put my camera about here, if I had have done that and had the whole extended table out, you wouldn't have seen my outfit, because the table would have been in frame. This is my camera that I use, so it'll likely sit about here when I film, so you could roughly get the corner of that in. I may need to play around with this and move the other side of the table down to shrink it down even more, but I'm pretty happy with the angle that that achieves for me. Again, I think this was an IKEA rack. I've had it for years. I can't be 100% certain. I also switch around quite often between rack this side, rack that side, that side. This changes and alters depending on my mood, what I'm feeling. And of course I can change and alter my style and aesthetic over the years without needing to switch the whole room around. A rug on the floor, not because I overly love it anymore, but because I already had it and I didn't know what to do with it, so it's kind of just awkwardly sitting there. However, it does look nice in like TikToks and that sort of stuff, but just in my YouTube videos it does look odd, because if I was to align it straight with the camera, it's going against the corner of the room, so it is a bit tough to navigate that, but that's okay. If that's the biggest of problems I've got, I'm going pretty good. A stool from TK Maxx from a long time ago, a cane basket which I picked up from the op shop, and this beautiful cane hutch. So this was a marketplace pickup from Facebook, and I ended up painting the bits white that used to be blue. I didn't quite like the blue, and this actually houses my Cricut machine. I don't love my Cricut machine being there because when I'm using it, it hits the wall or I have to pull it out and it gets caught on the edge of the cane. So I probably will move that when I'm actually using it over to this or to that. But for now, that's where it stays, and I think it looks quite nice in my videos. And then last but certainly not least, we have my steamer from Kmart. So that is it for my craft, sewing, filming room tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you a bunch of ideas for storage solutions for yourself. Like I said, I'll try and remember to link everything down below that I've mentioned, and if you have any questions, tips or advice to share, please come down into the comments. I'm so excited to be posting back here on this channel in the new year. For 2022, we're actually in the new year now. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye guys!